Okay, for this make and take, we're doing a Halloween favor. Instead of using our typical cutout boxes from AccuCut, we decided to follow something we saw from Dandelions. On her blog, she was showing using the slider Ziplock bag. This is actually a quart-sized bag, and we're covering it with paper so it's all lined with our bag. We're doing a couple things differently in that we want this bag to be intact and are making it a little bit on the bigger side. So let's start with our base here. I've cut paper that's 8.5 by 11, cut off 2 inches, so it's now 9 inches by 8.5. And I want to have the 9-inch side across the top, and we're going to score that in half at 4.5. Then I'm going to turn that over and line up the 8.5 side. The Ziploc bag is actually just about 8 inches wide, so I'm going to go and keep the width of that. So I'm spanning or straddling the 1 and the 9 and trying to make the two edges pretty much the same width. And then I'm going to score right down there in the 9-inch track, and also on this side in the 1-inch track. And this is to create our flaps to cover our Ziploc bag. So fold that in half and go ahead and fold in our side flaps. Okay. And I want to go ahead and snip off flaps on 2 sides of this. So I'm going to go and cut from the midpoint here and straight down. And same thing on this side. We're going to toss those pieces here. Okay, I'm finding the best way to handle this is to actually take the clip off first. So I'm going to open up the bag and just pull off the slider clip so it won't be in the way while we're putting together our bag here. And I'm going to use double stick tape right along the whole top edge of our cardstock. I want to do another piece right here along the bottom edge. And I'm also going to have, so the bag is going to, or the cardstock is going to go right against this top edge of the bag. So I want to guesstimate to about where my bag is going to end, and have another piece just to hold that in, so when we turn that flap up, our bag won't sag on the inside. And then one more piece right along the whole other bottom edge of our cardstock. I need 2 more pieces on the flap here. And one more on this side. Okay, so to start assembling this, I'm going to release just the corners of the top edge. Pull it back. I like to fold over the edge a little bit, so only part of it is going to be exposed. Now go ahead and center this. And when that looks about right, go ahead and press down the two corners. And then you can go ahead and grab this tab and pull it out and go straight across. We're going to go ahead and remove this one. Just let our bag roll down. Leave this one here, roll it down. And then same thing, we can do a partial release on the other edge. So this is going to turn inwards here. Let's just speed that up a little bit. And start closing it up. This is turned in there. Close this side. And then release the top edge and get that all down. Okay, so now our Ziploc bag is covered, and we basically have a plastic bag that's now covered with cardstock, so we can do any of our regular paper crafting decorations on there. And the only trick is putting back the clip now. Remember I said leave it open here. If you look at the clip itself really closely, there's a tiny little divider piece right here in the front, in the middle. We need that to be in the middle of the two edges. So I start from the right hand side, and I normally put it over one side and then try to feed in the other edge. And I need to make sure it's in the middle, which it looks like it is. And then I can just push that forward and push the side down. And it should close our bag and open again. We're working with a Martha Stewart punch, which is the spider web. I want to line this piece of paper about a 1/4 inch from the edge, and then I'm going to go ahead and punch that through. We're going to go, so I'm going to have this edge here. Move this over, punch in one time, and one more time through here. Make sure that your bottom edge is still aligned. And now we have about a 1/4 inch on each side. So with our scissors, we're just going to go ahead and snip that straight across. We can cut this all the way across without any little border, but it's so much easier to adhere when we have that edge there. Otherwise, we'd be using a lot of Xyron adhesive or trying to work too fast with our pen glue. So to attach this, I'm just going to add about 1 inch or so of double stick tape to each side. And I'm normally doing this maybe about 1 inch from the top edge. Okay, to go ahead and decorate this, we're going to use 2 different dies. This one is a trick or treat phrase. Cut it in gold for the backing. And it has a star for the dotting the I. I don't use it for this particular project. You can put it in if you prefer. And we have trick, or treat. And And we're going to do the same for the purple and white. And we can go ahead and start cutting some of the other pieces. So besides that, I'm going to cut the purple here for the hat brim and purple here for the ghost shoes. Okay. So there's our ghosts, the little shoes. And our hat brim is left behind here. Okay, black for the hat. And let's try to see if we can get the gold pieces on here. We're going to back the shoes with gold. And there's a little hat buckle here. Okay, and one more run through on the die will be this kind of darker champagne for the legs, and this is going to be for little stripes on the leggings. Okay, this piece here is the one we're going to watch because they're tiny. There's 4 little stripes for the leggings. And we're going to take a little break so I can grab some tweezers I forgot. Okay, for the sake of saving up some time, I've already gone ahead and mounted up our trick or treat. I shadowed it a little offset with the gold behind there just to make the trick or treat pop out a little bit more. I've started to assemble part of our ghost. This purple band goes on top of the hat just below the little curled part. The buckle normally sits up there on the top. I used the point of the tweezers to poke out the little holes on the purple shoes, and then backed it with the gold shoes, and then assembled that. And you almost really got to use tweezers to do these tiny little stripings on top of the legs. Let's go ahead and add the ghost to its hat, and I'm just going to go here around the eyes with a little bit of glue. There's a slit in the hat here, so the head can go right there. I want to get it just so that the hat is already backing behind the eyes, so I don't have to go and glue a separate piece of black there. And you notice the head pops out a little bit there. I'm finding it's a little bit too low if I push it down, and I don't quite cover the eyes, so I'm just going to trim off a little bit of the head here and add some glue. And that's going to come right onto our hat about here. It's actually covering part of the buckle, but that's how the design is. Then just a little bit of glue here on the bottom of the legs, or the top of the legs. And that's where our ghost will sit. And just to finish it up, a bit of glue from the back side here. And let's just plop them in here. So that's our trick or treat favor bag, again with the Ziplock slider. Thanks for joining us.